Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So we are doing a new-ish series. I'm redoing it. I've never actually finished it, but I have a new way I'm working towards it and I think it's gonna work better. So we are relearning/learning the runes. Relearning of the first few and then jumping into the other ones. So if you are new here, hi, you should subscribe. The point of my channel is sharing what I'm learning on Minecraft and how it changes and evolves over the years, and hopefully teaching you a few things along the way. So by no means am I an expert on the runes at all. I don't know that anybody can really say they are an expert on most things in witchcraft. It's a broad spectrum of things that we tend to cover. By no means am I an expert on this, so I am going to direct you to a channel that has a lot more information, which is Jackson Crawford. He's got a PhD in Norse mythology and like Norse literature and stuff, so he really knows a lot about this culture and where the runes came from, and he does try to dispel a lot of the misinformation that's out there. However, he's not a practicing pagan, so he doesn't really go into that side of it too much. But for kind of your baseline of information, I highly recommend his channel. His content is really, I think it's entertaining and very informative, and so I definitely recommend you check that out. And then of course I will mention here in just a minute some of the more witchy and pagan influenced books that I'll be using in my own research, and then of course there'll be websites and stuff that come along that I use. But as always, I will link what I am using in the descriptions of the videos. So to start off with, the runes in their simplest form, it's an alphabet. It's an ancient alphabet that I don't really think is used anywhere anymore. And so it's just kind of like our traditional alphabet that we use here. And it has 24 letters, and eventually it was dropped down to 16. The reasons behind it are kind of unclear, I suppose. But most pagans tend to focus on the 24, and the main mention that we have for the runes is in the Havamal. So this is the translation by Jackson Crawford. He also in this book has his translation that he kind of, for lack of better wording, intuited his grandfather's words for a section of the Havamal, and it's kind of interesting to see a more modern kind of ish take, because obviously his grandfather was probably born in the 20s or 30s and, you know, different life at this point, almost 100 years ago, but still. So anyways, we are gonna jump into the little section that we do have that talks about the runes that are very often quoted when you are learning the runes. And if you want to read along, if you have this version, it is on page 75 that we begin. Just kidding, it's the page before. You will find the runes, runic letters to read, very great runes, very powerful runes, which Odin painted, and which the holy gods made, and which Odin carved. Odin carved for the gods, and here's some words that I'm gonna mispronounce, so like, we're just gonna roll with it. I don't know the language. Butchering words. The Dane for the elves, the Dvalin for the dwarves, and the Asvid for the giants. I carved some myself. Butchered those names. I am sorry. Here's the main part though that most people quote when you are learning the runes. Do you know how to write them? Do you know how to read them? Do you know how to paint them? Do you know how to test them? Do you know how to ask them? Do you know how to bless them? Do you know how to send them? Do you know how to offer them? And so that is pretty much all that we've got for the runes. And from this point forward, all of the information, especially for the divinatory uses of the runes, kind of varies. So these are just some of the resources that I will be using in my own studies. So to start things off, I actually have a deck. And so this is The Power of the Runes. I don't know if it has an author name anywhere. Oh, they do. I super don't even begin to know how to pronounce that, so it's there. Hopefully it's not backwards. These I feel like are very helpful for me because they are a visual representation of the cards, of the runes, and I feel like having an image to go with the rune instead of just this little symbol, just like a letter of the alphabet, because that's what they used to be, It's a lot easier to start learning, and obviously the little guidebook doesn't have a lot of information, but it has a little bit on what they mean. Next, this is a book that has been on my shelves for many years, A Practical Guide to the Runes by Lisa Pascal. I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right, but it's an old book. Bought it used many moons ago. It's a nice little tiny book. Is it good? I don't know. I haven't read it. And then I know there are some controversies with this author, so I'm aware there's just not a lot of books that I feel like are very well researched all the time, especially the newer books in a lot of pagan realms. Ask the people who are doing PhDs and stuff in the witchy topics, such as deities and ancestors and all of that kind of stuff, like the old stuff. You'll find that there's a lot of misinformation, and typically his books are well received for the actual writing. Him as a person is a little sketch. So we have Futhark, A Handbook of Rune Magic by Edridge Thorson. I think that's a pen name if I remember right, but he is well known for having a lot of very good information on the runes. Again, him as a person, give or take. Then we also have Rune Might by him as well, and I have not read through these books. I don't know what information is in here, so we'll find out together. The last one that I have currently, at least in printed form, that I'll probably be using the most, honestly, is Taking Up the Runes, A Complete Guide to Using Runes in Spells, Rituals, Divination, and Magic by Diana Paxson. This book has been amazing. So I read through this for the first couple of runes as I was working through them, and it's amazing. Great information. She does a lot of research and compares with different authors and different things, and has spells and obviously rituals like she mentioned on the cover. It's a big book. I love this book. And we're gonna try and finish this up before my camera overheats. It has the warning, so we're gonna try and wrap this up as quickly as possible. So I did go out and buy a specific book to specifically put the runes and possibly more divinatory things, depending on how much space we'll have at the end, in its own thing. I cannot manage a book of shadows with everything in it. It's just not gonna happen. So I'm just gonna start getting little sub books of shadows for different topics. I don't know who talked about it. I feel like somebody had at some point, but it's not a novel concept. So it's kind of your classic, has a little thingy thing, and it just, you know, whatever, has like a little strap that hangs. The pages are gorgeous in this. They're like that coffee stain, super dark, love this. And so I am just planning on putting various pages for each of the runes in here, and I'll probably be referencing with this as we go forward. And so yeah, I figured I would show this. And so basically how this is going to run, and if I get cut off, it'll just be words and some pretty little music at the end. But basically, I am planning on talking about 2 runes each month, and so it'll be going over the next year. I've tried to do this where it's every week and get it done a lot faster, and to be honest, it just doesn't give you enough time with the runes. And so I am trying to do this much more relaxed and making my plate of content much more easy to manage. And so doing runes twice a month is just going to be the easiest for me, and that way too, if you follow along, you'll have time to work with each rune individually as well. And so we will be starting off here in the month of October with the first 2, which is Fehu and Uruz, and I will probably mispronounce them as we go, because again, I do not know this language very well, and yeah, I suck at words on a good day. English words, American English words, let alone other languages. So don't worry, there will be mispronunciations going forward, forever and always. So I hope you will come along for this, and we get to learn the runes together. It's going to be an exciting time, and my goal is to be able to do that list from the Havamal, the like 8 or 9 questions, to be able to do those for each rune and how I interpret those questions. So I'm sure as we get into it, we'll kind of discuss those questions. But yeah, that is my intro to the runes series, learning the runes, and I hope you come along with me for this journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. If you want to support me in my crazy endeavors, I do have a Patreon, and I post on there pretty regularly, do vlogs and different behind the scenes stuff, and I am going to be going through the Inner Temple of Witchcraft over there, and then, you know, you get early access to my videos and polls and the usuals of a Patreon. So anyways, thank you again to my couple of patrons over there. I just got a new one, so thank you for your kind and loving support for my crazy and all of my endeavors, because this is what I want to do for a living. And so thank you for those of you who believe in supporting me. And if you can't monetarily support me, that's totally fine. I understand. Subscribing is free, and it still gets me where I need to go. So interact, like, comment, and if you want to support my other channel, I will have it linked below as well. That's where I'm talking about spooky things and writing and stuff like that, so it'll be over there. And until next time, I will actually see you every Friday here on out. I've always tried to do Witchy Wednesdays, and I feel like that's just overdone, and I feel like Fridays is a good time to sit down and chill, so it's more like Freya's Fridays. So anyways, I will talk with you guys later. This is enough rambling. Okay, bye!